for him. But now we are waiting on 5 red lights. There's 3, there's 4, and there's 5. And we're all waiting to go underway. A long pause, but there we are. What can the Alfa Romeo driver do? So we're going to turn 1. And it's a very good start from the racing point. Mr. P comes over aggressively, but it's TT Jeffrey going to the inside line. But Mr. P holds it around the outside. They're still side by side as we come down to turns 2 and 3. And the racing point looks to tense just about taking the lead. He sweeps around the outside of turn 3. Mr. P to not get a good launch at all, but he's managed to at least defend from his teammate. Craig holds into P4. We've got a little bit of a change there. I think F1 Richards and is getting in a fight with the Mercedes at the back there. We'll see how the two Alfa Romeos can respond, but it's the racing point who's taking the lead. Luke Bailey again putting his teammate under a hell of a lot of pressure, and TT Jeffrey is absolutely driving away. He's got a 1.5 second gap. Mr. P is under immense pressure. So you've got, I think, got a spin there from a Haas in the sector 3. Tinnis, who's already at the back on the hard tyres, perhaps struggling maybe even to get some temperature. And there's Mr. P moves all the way over to the left hand side. He's letting his teammate through. He knows he perhaps hasn't got the pace on his opening laps. And Luke Bailey moves up into P2. He's got to try and close down that racing point quickly.
Yeah, they can't let him get away with DRS being so key around here. They need to get into it to be able to conserve their tyres and energy, so they're not overstressing the car. Otherwise they'll be forever chasing him and pushing a bit too hard.
Oh, absolutely. Mr. P goes absolutely really wide around turns 11 and 12. He comes back on the circuit ahead of Craig, but he's got himself a 3-second time penalty straight away there. And that is
yeah, we've also got Luke Bailey down in P9 looking very racy already. He's all over the back of Gareth, aka Captain Stiff. So he's going to be looking to start making his way through the field straight away.
Let's see what Craig can do. He's of course under pressure from Wojtek as well. The top 3 are very, very, very close. Only 3 tenths of a second. Jeffrey decides to go defensive. He's going to go back onto the racing line. No, Craig just has a little sniff. I don't think he was really too interested. He's got a bit of action.
Yeah, Wojtek almost got caught out by Craig and Jeffrey, and Wojtek just broke a little bit late and nearly ran in the back of Craig down in the hairpin there, so he's very lucky to avoid contact, but now he's got Brennons for company behind him.
Meanwhile, Luke Bailey's not wasting any time. It looks like he's trying to go around the outside of Williams of Captain Stiff, and he's just pulled a move off. It's a really nice move. Of course, he's got fresher tyres. And I think Gareth certainly putting all his eggs into one basket, so we're back underway. It's green flag, and after the VSC, Luke Bailey, who's in P8, he can be seen as perhaps your net leader. Although of course he has got to try and look after. He's going around the outside of the Mercedes and Mike. He just seemed to lose it there on the exit of turn 9. As now coming down around turn 10. It's now going to go into the treble of turns 11, 12 and 13. And Mercedes just about breaks perfectly. In fact, really nicely defended from Mike, and he's just tapping the back of him. In fact, the Alfa Romeo driver. There's now, of course, Brennons, of course, the top driver to start on the medium tyres. Is now coming into pressure from Dragio. There's going to go side by side after this long straight. Craig's just about holding on to Lee from Wojtek. They're going to go side by side, the Terosso and the McLaren driver. It's a really nice move from the Dragio and the Terosso around the outside. He's going to have to do well there to try and defend it. He might just get, he doesn't have DRS, and the McLaren's going to come back at him.
DRS back, yeah. Easy move for Brennon's back on Dragio after a fantastic move from Dragio around the outside, but Dragio's outbroken Brennon's and held the inside and got the move done.
I mean, this is absolutely no complaints from us. They seems to be having a fantastic battle, and Wojtek seems still just perhaps that little bit more tyre life into his soft tyres. He's looking at Craig and coming into the end of sector 1. As Dutch Lowy picks up 3 seconds, I saw Luke Bailey, I think, also picking up another penalty. So I think he might have even pitted again, Luke Bailey. I think he's just coming out the pits.
These guys staying out at the front is all the time playing into the hands of TTG Jeffrey. He is gaining time on them hand over fist at the moment. So he's currently 12 seconds off the lead on much fresher tyres, and he's just.
Let's see Craig, absolute firm defence against Wojtek. It looked like Wojtek had finally got past the Renault, but no, Craig just broke really late, and it was a very strong defence. And now still he's going to have a look, see what he can do. He's probably got the much best tyres of all 3 of them. He's going to look around the outside now, and it's again Craig late onto the brakes, and he's making that the widest Renault in the world. So it'd be very impressed that he's managed to keep it going. As Stephen and F1 Richard are going side by side, as the Williams driver just keeps ahead, but the McLaren now coming back at him, and he's got a much better exit. It seems he's got a much better speed, and he's got a much better drag reduction system. It's still very, very close though. So Williams seems to just have the inside line. He's side by side, and McLaren just about going around the outside. He's got slightly newer tyres as well, new grip. Just shows where his pace has been tonight. He's superb in the first stint as well. And what might help him as well is that the fact that F1 Richard has perhaps got to look behind rather than forward, because the Mercedes of Steel is absolutely right on his gearbox. And potentially looking at a move here as we come into the heavy braking zone. It goes down the inside, it goes down to first gear, flicks it into the left hand corner, into the right, and he's already got the move done. It's a really nice effort. It's surely going to have a battle for the lead very, very soon. F1 Richards has dropped back to 2.2. Perhaps he's had a scruffy lap as Brennon's coming out of nowhere. Seems like Malc's really struggling with his tyres through turn 3, and the McLaren moves round the outside. It's a very nice move. Moves up into P7, and he'll be looking at the two Williams drivers ahead of him, as potentially he can still get before the end of this race.
Yeah, let's not forget that TTT Jeffrey has got a 3-second time penalty, and I'm just looking through. So is Steele. So if Richard can keep penalty free towards the end of the race, he could be looking at a win here.
Well, that would be a hell of a result as Malc comes back at the McLaren. A really nice move down the end, down the inside. The McLaren has to back out of it.
Yeah,
so he's come up P7, 5 seconds behind. He's still, Mr. P almost losing it. He's going to put himself under a lot of pressure now from Dutch Low. He's now going wheel to wheel with Luke Bailey. Luke Bailey sends it down the inside of the hairpin. He's done a really nice move there. He's on a new set of soft tyres. He's going to absolutely want to fly. He's going to want to get past his teammate as quick as he can. He can see that GT Jeffrey, who's got a brand new set of softs, so he's going to want to try and stay with him. Mr. P, I think, playing the team game there quite sensibly so. Doesn't fight his teammate whatsoever. Luke Bailey knows. And see Malc and Craig picking up 3 seconds in quick succession there as well. And TG Jeffrey, I think, just tapping the back of the McLaren around that first sector, but he is so close to the McLaren. Has he got? If he's not alongside, does he have to throw it down the inside anyway?
I think so. It's getting to that kind of point in the race where you just got to get the move done. But he's going down the inside now. Is he going to be brave on the brakes? Brennan's is equally as brave on the brakes. Is he going to go for the switchback? No, he's going to brave it round the outside, and he's got that move done nice and cleanly.
Very nice. Seeing McLaren, they're going really wide for turn 1. Brennan's as well, really struggling. I think there's a lot of these hard tyre runners are really struggling. They've done really well to get them this long. It's such a hard circuit on tyres, so there's so many times. It's not just temperatures, but when the temperatures go and your tyres are worn, it's so easy. I think like this might be a very easy move for the Racing Point drivers. Mr. P does in fact set the fast lap of the race, so it might be a bittersweet consolation for him. He goes to the inside line. I don't think the Williams driver is going to fight it too hard. Does really nicely on the brakes, so he's going to keep it at least for another no. Jeffrey does exactly the same to what he did to the McLaren and goes around the outside, but he's going to have to now defend perhaps to the Williams driver. I'm not sure how hard he's going to fight it. Stephen's going to look to the outside line with DRS. Through 11, 12 and 13, the Racing Point really critical. The Williams now going side by side. He's just made a little bit of contact. He does well to hold it, but still the Mercedes driver has responded to perhaps any speculation that it's going to be an Alfa Romeo walkover this season. He's done a really good job. We'll see what penalties happens, but he crosses the line P1. Fantastic job from the Mercedes driver. Congratulations to him. F1 Richard does take the race win on penalties, and crucially it was that 3-second gap that he had to keep